Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we are ready to deploy again if we're not going to wait for the Epimetheus. And I don't think we need to. Let's just hop into the barracks here, let's give it one more deployment, and then we'll have the Epimetheus good to go. So a point of guts for Brick seems fine. We're still going to have to deploy this in the slightly awkward way that we did last time because we have a couple of mech warriors still out, which is not ideal of course, but it's fine. We have substitutes. We can just shuffle people around a little bit. It's not a big deal. So Klist, you are the Bandersnatch pilot. I'm leaning towards Warlord here. The other option would be... Yeah, I don't think Field Command is the way to go. So I think that we go for Warlord here. Yeah. Those clustering roll modifiers on an LRM boat is really good, assuming you remember to use it, which I never ever do, but that's absolutely fine. So next up is going to be who? Savarok? Squire? Nope. Weasel Cakes? Nope. Okay, sure, that seems fine. So we're ready to deploy here. I would like to get up to 12.4-ish million. So that basically means making 2 million off of this. So something like this test drive could be okay. And actually, we'd be test driving the Steiner mech. This is an interesting option. It would pay reasonably well. This would be a better pay. It's urban, though, so that would be kind of slow. This Battle in the Badlands is a very interesting one, though. This is basically the same thing. Let's do this. So this is going to be Comstar versus Word of Blake. So it's going to be mildly awkward, but 2.4 million should be plenty. I'm not too interested in the salvage, and there isn't great salvage here anyway, but we can do something along the lines of this. This is going to be all of these same mechs. This Ostrock is locked here. Okay, so we need to take our crossbow and put it in this slot. This covers our lack of Epimetheus, and that basically means that Squire is going to be in this Ostrock. Okay. This seems good. We deploy this. Darius did not say he thought it was going to be difficult. It might be difficult then. Good to know. I'll see you guys after the loading screen. Well, that certainly took a little bit longer to load up than last mission, so we're expecting this to be a little tougher. I mean, that would be expected for multiple reasons. We're against Word of Blake. It's a more difficult mission. It's going to be quite a lot of things, actually. Quite a lot of reasons why that would be more difficult. So where do we want to land here? We know the Blakist forces are up over this way. I mean, landing up here could be funny, but we don't... Well, actually, that could be funny. I don't really like it, though, necessarily. I don't like landing down here either, though. Maybe we do land up here, and we come at them from the rear here, taking the high ground. If they have any additional enemies there, that's their future evac zone, so they would probably drop somewhere around here. Let's try this. We're landing on top of the hill here, and we're going to need to make our way around, but that's fine. So we immediately see these two mechs here. What are they? A Hunchback and a Shadowhawk. Nothing too scary there. Okay. Did you just fall over? This Osprey just fell over. Okay. Have fun with that. Sure. So these are our allied units over here, of course. We've got Comstar over there. And looking at this lance, we see a Shadowhawk, a Hunchback, a Cicada, a second Cicada, a Rifleman, and a Wyvern. This is incredibly non-scary. Okay, we're going to take our Bandersnatch out over this direction. We need to break LOS up this way, right? Or rather, get LOS from, like, up here. So we need to make our way out this direction. That archer positioning there is fine. Next up is going to be our Crossbow X. We want to get our MRM boat moving out over this way and closing in this way. Fantastic. This crossbow, I'd like to start moving out here as well. We're once again making for this cover up here to be able to fire down this hill, ideally. And that's an Orion, sure. Next up would be our Rifleman, and that's just going to come out of the cover and try to get some LOS out over here eventually. We knew that LOS at the beginning of this would be problematic, but that Cicada just positioned itself in a really bad place. Okay. Well, let's take our Nidhogg up this way. We can look for a nice AoE attack with our Nidhogg next round, but we'll see what happens. The Wyvern moves up over here. We'll see how spread out they end up getting.
Waiting for orders.
And our Black Knight is going to want to head as over here as it can and just get some nice LOS down here. Heading out still this direction, broadly. These allied units are not going to be very useful. They're way down the hill. But we can eliminate these without any problem on our own. I'm not expecting any issues here. So this is our Marauder here, and I would love to position it about here is a pretty good spot for it. Okay. That Shadowhawk closing in, that seems good. Next up would be our Grasshopper, which we'll position about here for now. We're clustering our units together quite a lot here, out of cover, but I'm not too concerned. These are broadly mediums. So it should be reasonably fine. Our jury-rig Demolisher can position, once again, right in the cluster of everybody else. Imagine if they had artillery to drop right there, but they don't, as far as we know, unless that Hunchback has them. I suppose it could, but it's a 4x1? I don't think so. He moved in a little closer there. Do we have sensors on him? Not right now, anyway. We would need, perhaps, our Ostrock selected. Okay, yeah. No artillery there. Cool, so this guy's a laser boat. Sure, we'll just position him about here.
Got it.
Excellent. And next up is going to be our LRM carrier. I'd like to keep that more in cover. The LRM carrier has very low armor, and we'll just position it about there. Cool. So spawn protection has been removed, and we see 2 allied units moving. And then 1 of our own. And then 2 more allied units and 2 enemy units. So most of our mechs are going to move after them. They're considerably lighter than us, so that does make sense. Our Crossbow X, on the other hand, I kind of want to sprint that up over here to keep the firing corridor a little more clear. And position this guy here. We can fire on any of these that we want to. And I kind of want to hit this Hunchback. I feel like the Hunchback is the core threat here. It's slightly lower hit odds than firing on the Shadowhawk, but I think this is worth it. Light him up. So that's going to be quite a softening of that Hunchback. Yeah, that was a good softening indeed. When does he move? He moves phase 15. That's fine. No problem whatsoever. Okay. So that's artillery onto that Hunchback. That is a perfect target for that. I love that. That is absolutely phenomenal. They have 2 phase 18 movers here. This is going to be their Shadowhawk and their Cicada. We'll see what they do with that. I would like them to stay in this cluster to drop our bombs with our Nidhogg next phase. But I'm willing to bet they're going to move forward with the Cicada. The Shadowhawk might move like down here. That would be fine. We would still go after that if it did, but we'll see how clustered together they are when our Nidhogg can move. Uh-huh. That was definitely unexpected. The Osprey is getting up. And we'll see what it decides to do here. Sensor locking that Shadowhawk, and then firing indirect on the Hunchy. And getting absolutely no hits. Okay, whatever. That's fine. The Cicada moves now. This may no longer be a juicy target for our Nidhogg. And we'll see. The Nidhogg target is probably up here now, so it would be on, like, this Wyvern. I'm expecting the Cicada here to run forward, which would be kind of not healthy for it. It actually ran off over here, so that's fine. That still means that we don't have a great target for the Nidhogg in that immediate vicinity. So we want to target the one further back. That's okay. We're going to get to move very, very soon here. These guys will get to move. One of them, I think, gets to move in phase 17. We'll see what that ends up looking like. Some damage to the rear arc of that Shadowhawk indirectly. That's not bad. Okay, so our Nidhogg moves right now, and I would like to position it somewhere around here or so.
Got it.
And I'd kind of like to hit the rear arc of this Shadowhawk, but I'd also like to hit the side arc of this Wyvern. I think that's what we're going to take because it's more centrally located, and we're just going to do something like this. This is going to do a lot of splash damage, and it should do a pretty good amount of overall
Firing
damage.
on target.
Excellent. That was indeed a lot of damage dealt here. So this Rifleman is exposed in its rear arc. This Wyvern is significantly damaged. And this Shadowhawk here, it took some damage out of that, but the other two were broadly the ones hit. That seems good. Next up would be our Bandersnatch, and I would like to position that here, I guess. It's an interrupted LOS on this Hunchy, but I want to fire on this Hunchy and get some solid damage dealt. I'm not going to fire these two ER medium lasers for heat, but otherwise, let's see what we can do. Structure exposure, and we made him unsteady. Okay. Next up is our Rifleman. The Rifleman can pot shot at the Cicada. I don't expect very much out of that. Yeah, 10 evasive, and I believe it's in that mineral field. Yeah, that's going to be hard to hit. But we can pot shot at it and see what happens. Not much. Okay. I'm not shocked about that one. I did not expect to get much out of that. Okay. Phase 15. Unfortunately, they get to move their Hunchy here, but it's very exposed in that CT. It's going to get to fire its 2 light AC-10s, but that's not the biggest of deals. It fired on the Nidhogg, of all things. Interesting. The Nidhogg is basically out of ammo, though. That's not a good choice. The Nidhogg's damage is dealt. It has a few weapons in its weapons bay left, but broadly, there's not a lot to be done there. But they're getting a lot of hits on it for 8 evasive. Okay. Well, we'll see what ends up happening with that. They have another Phase 15 mover. That'll be this Cicada. You gonna go join your other Cicada friend? That seems like the kind of thing cicadas would do. Any moment now. Okay. So it runs off over that direction and fires on the Rifleman. So yeah, broadly, it did go to join his other Cicada friend. That's fine.
Are you trying to attract my attention or something?
These Blakist forces are not going to last very much longer, of course. And we're going to just step forward with our crossbow here, with the idea being we hit this Hunchback. I think the Hunchback dies to this. Maybe. It's fairly fresh here. We'll see how much gets into the CT. That really clustered into that arm a lot, which was not ideal. I would have liked to more hit the CT. But that did soften this up tremendously. So that's okay. Next up is going to be this Rifleman, and the Rifleman's not doing so well. He's probably also going to shoot at the Nidhogg. There's not really anything else to do there. The Orion firing at that Hunchback rear arc, it got a couple of hits in there, but that isn't very relevant, to be honest. What's this Rifleman going to do? That's the question here. They have moved every other unit that they have. The Rifleman moves and fires on the Nidhogg. Okay, that's reasonably expected. So that seems absolutely fine. No problem there. Next up is that Archer, which fires rear arc on that Hunchy. I mean, it is building up some rear arc damage there, but it got a light AC-10 crit, I suppose. I don't know. That doesn't feel all that useful. The Grasshopper is going to step up over here and just fire on that Hunchback. Pretty good hit odds, actually. We'll take it.
Yeah, you're like...
We missed almost everything there. Okay. Pretty good hit odds, and we did indeed miss almost everything, but that's fine. The Black Knight will step forward, and this will likely finish the job. Maybe not. The armor is not super good, but that was a gyro crit at any rate. Pilot ejection? Nope, he's just unsteady. He is panicked, but he did not eject. Okay.
Yes, Commander.
So next up is our Marauder here. I'm going to position the Marauder here,
On my way.
and we're going to finish off this Hunchback. He definitely dies to this shot. There we go. -1 Hunchback. So that was a very large amount of damage to that Hunchy, obviously.
I'm receiving you.
I'm going to take our jerry-rig demolisher out over this way. These guys are positioned in such a way that stray shot is a distinct possibility. And I'm going to fire our eye rockets at the cicada as well. So something like that. Okay. It didn't end up stray shotting, but it was worth a try. Next up would be our Devastator, which is going to take this same sort of an angle. We'll position it here, and I'm going to fire on this cicada. Ooh, we managed to hit him with one of those AC-20s. That was actually a big deal. We didn't make him unsteady, and where did we hit him? In the leg? I mean, legging a cicada is nice. No doubt about that. I'm going to put the LRM carrier right down over here, and we're going to see if we can't take out that leg. We'll do standard missiles.
Firing a full salvo.
Good hits there. Did we make him unsteady? Not quite, is the answer. Very, very close.
Yeah.
The Ostrock can absolutely engage over here as well. So we'll just continue doing the stray shot strategy. A couple of additional hits there. Still not done there. Okay. Somebody's coming in over here. Sure. A second lance is not shocking. So that's reasonably fine. Next up is phase 20. So what are our allies over here going to do? Well, they're going to be able to engage some of these units over here, I hope. But they're hitting that Shadowhawk rear arc. Was that a lucky shot? No, it wasn't. Okay. Next up is our crossbow. And I'm going to move the crossbow up to here. I'm not going to bother firing at these cicadas when we have this wyvern as a target. So this wyvern is going to take a huge amount of frontal damage, and it should just die here. Good torso destruction there on the left torso, and I think it's gone. Yeah, there we go. So -1 wyvern, I think. No, wait, he's still alive.
Need to cool down.
Remarkable. He actually survived that. Okay, he did get knocked down, but that's okay. Let's see what our ally does here. Yeah, on the wyvern, that makes a lot of sense. That's a really good place for that artillery to land. So pilot panics and ejects, a volley support vehicle moving up here, and this Shadowhawk has taken a fair amount of rear arc damage. That's fine. I do want to move our Bandersnatch out over here, with the idea being I want to leg that cicada. So, let's see what we get done here.
Firing on target.
At the very least, we made him unsteady. What did we get done there, though? He did not get legged there. He's very close. Let's see what this archer does. Firing in the rear arc of that Shadowhawk. Okay. Could get some decent damage done there. Kinda didn't, but it could have. Phase 17 is now going to be the 2 cicadas. It should move this one first. We'll see if it does. If it moves this one, then that's significant, like, AI issues. We'll see what happens there, though. I expect this cicada to move. That's the one under significantly higher threat. Of course, cicadas can move very fast, and so there's a lot of places to calculate. Let's see what they end up deciding. Okay, it is moving the correct cicada, but it moved it to a very bad place. It should not move a cicada there. Congrats, you are in melee range of a heavy as a cicada.
I'm showing mine a damage.
That's not going to go well for you. Okay, so next up is our LRM crossbow. We could position that over here and hit this weakened side arc of the cicada. We would be more likely to want to position it here. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So let's hit the side arc of the cicada. This is its weak side, and it will likely get legged from this. Oh yeah, it's legged. And it's actually just dead. Beautiful. So there's one cicada down. Now they're going to have an allied unit moving. We'll see what it does here. It could go after this rifleman, which the rear arc on that rifleman is not doing so well. The Orion is probably going to attack this Shadowhawk rear arc, though. Yeah, that's exactly what it's doing. Structure exposure there. Okay, seems fine. Next up is going to be the second cicada, and it currently has how much evasive? 10? Okay, we'll be very interested in this cicada having less evasive. Let's see where it goes. Once again, it takes a while. Okay, it moves down into that same location and takes probably the same attack here. Also attacking the LRM carrier, which is not necessarily ideal, right? Our LRM carrier does have very low armor, but it doesn't penetrate the armor, so that sounds good. The rifleman can position about here,
On my way.
and we'll pot-shot this cicada, but we're probably going to have heat issues. Yeah, we'll not fire this ERPPC.
Roger that.
We did manage to hit that with one PPC there. So, I mean, that's okay. It's not great. Allied unit moves now, and that's going to continue to lob missiles into the rear arc of that Shadowhawk. Unfortunately, no significant internal damage there. What is it that they exposed the armor in, anyway? And the Shadowhawk is going to move now. Okay, CT and in the left torso. Or right torso? I guess right. Sure. But the Shadowhawk will move now, and we'll get to move our Nidhogg eventually. But we rolled up a 13 this time. Oh! Why would he move there? That is a terrible place for him to move.
Reporting. Heavy damage.
Losing lots of
Okay,
armor.
so he's super dead. The Ostrak is going to kick this cicada, or try to. I want to get into rear arc here. Although I want to do it from this angle, so we're less likely to stray shot our LRM carrier. 34.5% chance only here, but we'll see what happens. And we got it. Beautiful. So this cicada is dead. It just doesn't know it. Fantastic. So next up is going to be our Grasshopper. And also in the category of dead but doesn't know it yet is this Shadowhawk. So we're going to position here, 50% hit odds. Let's go.
Firing full salvo.
We missed the AC-20, but good front arc damage softening up that Shadowhawk. Excellent.
I'm ready.
Next up is our Black Knight, which is going to advance up over here, continuing to soften the front arc of the Shadowhawk. There's not a lot of armor left in several locations. Okay. And actually, that's an AC-5 ammo explosion, and the pilot ejects. Fantastic. So next up is our Nidhogg. And the Nidhogg we're going to take into the rear arc of this Rifleman. I don't like this spot, but we can position it perhaps... Yeah, this would have to be sprinted. Here. Do it.
Confirmed.
So we're going to drop our weapons bay here, and our snub-nose PPC, and our guided bomb here. That'll be absolutely great, and this Rifleman is probably not going to survive this salvo. We did miss the snub-nose PPC, but that was fantastic hits on the bombs. Sadly, the Rifleman did survive. Okay, we didn't get any
Waiting
crits,
for orders.
which is slightly odd. We can position our Marauder back here and fire on that cicada. Hit odds are pretty low. Actually, they're not too bad. We may attack our Bandersnatch, but I'd be okay with that. So more damage to that cicada. That seems fine. And next up would be our Jerry-Rig Demolisher. I definitely want to get into rear arc of the cicada here and sit about here.
On my way.
This is probably a kill on the cicada, and we're less concerned about the stray shot on the LRM carrier now. Less concerned. We're not concerned.
On rear armor.
Okay, there we go. So -1 cicada. And next up is, of course, going to be this Rifleman. Let's see how he turns. He was very close to being knocked down. He would have been knocked down, and that probably would have killed him if the snub-nose PPC had hit. Sadly, it did not. He positions there. Tries to fire on the Nidhogg. He does manage to get one large laser in there, but that's not going to do too much, to be honest. So phase 9 is our Devastator. The Devastator can position right here in this side arc. Not the best hit odds in the world, but this is still probably a knockdown, which would probably end up killing him with how bad his rear arc is.
All weapons fired.
Oh, we missed both of the autocannons there, but that'll still knock him down. Did he just not take any damage in his rear arc there? Remarkable. Okay, well, the LRM carrier is going to position right about here, and we want to probably fire on these legs, right? Probably. I mean, it's not going to be great. Oh, he ejects. Okay, perfect. So we're going to have... That's all of the primary targets down. We're going to have another Lance dropping here soon. New Lance in the AO, Star Adder markings. Okay. What? Another one detected? Okay. Primary targets are down and we can evac at any time. There's another drop zone over here. We see a Star Adder Lance here, a Chameleon and a Lancelot and an Adder. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I guess I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we'll see how this ends up going. He's got 12 evasive. You're not going to get anything out of that, I'm afraid. You can give it a try, but you're not going to hit. So we just need to wait at this point to put the cut in until their unit here moves. There's also a Shadowhawk 2C over here and an Elemental Toad. That Elemental Toad needs to be a high priority. Okay. So the Shadowhawk 2C moves up, and that's fine. It's now our turn, so I'm going to go ahead and put that cut in here. And next episode, we are going to see how this goes. There's a Lance here, and there's another Lance landing over here. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.